It's where we all love it. It's why we got in the business, ring the gong, make the sale, get paid, right? And then the biggest one that nobody wants to talk about, finances. Most people that I coach come to me with their finances a wreck. So I'm going to share a quick story here. I did a TEDx talk in November in Lake Mary, Florida, and it's for female entrepreneurs, the one habit that you have to adopt, and it's your profit and loss. Men, you can listen to it too and give me a high five if you want, but it's really about, when I did a lot of research, I knew I was going to do a talk about money, but the more I researched, I saw that there was such a disconnect for women entrepreneurs versus men for a couple reasons. The very first thing that I learned is we weren't educated in our homes, especially in my generation. My parents never talked about money. I came from a divorced home, so instantly I was fearful of speaking about money because I was so uneducated, because we didn't talk about it, right? The second reason why we don't talk about money as far as women is we don't want to be judged. And let's be honest, if you're a female who's wildly successful and you're the highest earner in the room or the highest earner at the table, we hear things like, oh, no way she earned that. She had to sleep her way to the top. Or her daddy gave her that business. Or she married into that world, right? Or the flip side is if you're the smallest earner at the table, you're frowned upon because you can't do or you're not as successful as the rest of the people in the room. So when it comes to money, we're like, not talking about that. However, the number one reason small businesses fail, we already know that an average realtor is only going to make it 14 months in the business, but nationally, the number one business why 1 in 4 small businesses fail, what is it? Cash flow. Because it looks like this. Oh my gosh, I was a barista in high school, and then I was a barista in college, and I love making coffee, and I love talking to people. So I'm going to open a small coffee shop. They're really good in the front of the house. There's a whole nother business happening behind that door. How to prospect and get people in the door, how to hire and train and onboard, how to pay your taxes, how to generate cash flow. And so we see 1 in 4 small businesses fail every single day. And the fear of money is the number one reason. So when I started coaching, the story I will share with you about money is some of you are familiar with a coaching company called The Core. And I had a wildly successful real estate business. I was closing about 200 deals a year. And I had a lot of guilt. I was getting barraged when I got home that I was never home. And when I was home, I was on my computer or, not with the family. And then I was feeling super guilty when I would go home that I wasn't taking care of my clients. And so I have a little evil twin. She sits on my shoulder. Her name is Cassandra. And she decided to tell me one day when I was driving home that if I left my car outside of my garage and turned off the timer in the security system, I could sneak out when everybody went to bed. This is a true story, by the way. And so I did it for months and months and months. So everybody goes to sleep, and I would sneak out the back door, hop in my Jeep, and I would go to the office, turn off the alarm, lock the door, and I would just work. I thought, gosh, this is the best solution I could come up with because my family wasn't missing me. They were all sleeping. And my clients were being serviced. It was great. Who was it not great for? Yeah. So one day I came home and I parked my car out in the garage and I'm going to come through and I'm going to turn the security system off. And I heard, don't turn off the alarm. And so I was like the cat who ate the canary. I come like strategically, sashaying in. And I was like, hey, honey, where's Corey? That's our son. And he said, he's at your mom's. You need to have a seat. I was like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And so he proceeded to tell me that I did not know he proceeded to say, I didn't think he knew what was going on. And he did. He had just found out. And he gave me 30 days to make a change or he was out. I was like, okay, that's great. So I hit my knees. Within 2 weeks, I met someone who said, hey, I'm going to this event. You should come with me. So I get to the event. Mind you, I have no idea if my credit card's going to go through. I'm scraping pennies, begging that it does. And I get there. Now, mind you, remember I started this story was I was selling 200 houses a year. So you can do the math. I was making a lot of money. I just didn't have any. Okay? So I get there, and everybody's like, why are you here? And I'm like, oh, I need help with time management. I suck at time management. My time management is terrible. I need more time. I got busted sneaking out of bed at night, and I just have a time management issue. About 90 days in, they looked at me and said, you don't have a time management issue. You're broke. I was like, how'd you know? And they said, well, you're spending $40,000 a month before you get paid. And you're outrunning the expenses thinking I'll get paid more next month and I'll pay those bills, and next month never came. People, things are going to fall out. Life is going to life. You're going to get a sick parent. And when you are chasing money to rob Peter to pay Paul, you're in trouble. And it is a fact of why 1 in 4 businesses fail for that very reason. We don't know the money aspect. So I'll spend more time on the money today because I think it's the biggest need in our industry. I think it would be life-changing for the real estate industry if they would add that to part of our schooling and our education. I don't think they ever will. They would rather us figure out how to pour concrete around a pool and what the dimension is. Like, any of you going to go out and pour concrete around a pool today? Probably not, but you do need to do your P&L, right? So I'm very passionate about the finances because that was game changer for me. And that put me on the right path, and I'm forever grateful for the core, and I talk about them all the time. I'm not with them anymore. I'm independent, but that was game changer for me. So we're going to dive into these 4 things with your permission today. I'll give you some tactics, and hopefully when you leave, you'll have some really, really good ideas to put in your business. So execution I hit that too fast. Sorry. Execution strategy for me is nothing but massive action. If you're not a person of action, that's the first thing you have to do to be a great salesperson. When you leave here today, there's going to be 2 or 4 things. Go home and put them into action right away. Don't be the one that puts the book on the shelf and like, hey, when I slow down, I'm going to do that. Because when you slow down, you may be bankrupt. Or you may be out of business. Or you may be sick with no money in the bank, or whatever the situation is. So massive action is mandatory. Okay, so let's talk about these. Operation. Most of us love the operation piece. We tell you we don't, but we do. And what's the one reason? I gave you the clue, but what's the one reason we all like to stay here? What? Busy. And how about one better? There's no rejection there. When I'm typing an amendment, ain't nobody saying no, right? When I am posting on social media, nobody's saying, I picked another realtor. So we get sucked in here because this is comfort zone. Listen, nothing happens in the comfort zone. We have to get uncomfortable. Discomfort will force you to change. I heard a long time ago that enough pain will cause you to change to get a better outcome for the gain. Think about that. It takes a lot of pain for us to force ourselves to change to create the gain outcome that you want. So this should be, I was talking to Raquel last night, this should be the one place that you delegate and outsource fastest. I'm not here to make anybody mad or hurt anybody's feelings. These are all my beliefs, okay? So when I say these, don't throw rotten eggs down here or anything. I think that we were taught early, or I was taught early on, hire more salespeople. If you have more leads than you need, hire more salespeople, and they can help you get those sold. My opinion, worst business model ever. And I'll tell you why. Somebody tell me the biggest asset of your business. Who said leads? Raise your hands. both of you, because we had this conversation last night. It's leads. All of you in here have relationships. All of you in here hold the same license. All of you can do the exact same thing as I can. So what is the asset in your business? The leads. You don't get paid if you don't have any. Can we agree on that? Okay. So if the leads are the biggest asset in your business, then why do we bring somebody in and hand them our biggest asset, and maybe they can close and maybe they can't, versus you taking that asset and outsourcing the stuff that's $10, $12, $15, $20 an hour, depending on what market you're in, and you can take more of those leads. Do you guys see the difference? Because what happens is I hire an agent, and I say, here's 10 leads. You got to work them. What if they suck at closing? You gave 10 of your best assets away to somebody who couldn't close a door. Guilty. Did it for years. Okay? And then I'm like, oh, I know our leads suck. Instead, I should have been looking at them and saying, do you know how to close a lead? Now you get a good one, and I've had a bunch of good ones, but when they show the house, and they write the offer, and they negotiate the deal, and they show up at the closing, whose client are they? Whose? How can they be yours? They haven't even had a relationship with you. So whose client are they? Theirs. So I want you to think about, buyer's agents are great. It's how we pay them and how we train them and how we onboard them and how we build the teams. I'm not saying don't do buyer's agents or showing assistants. There's good ways to do it, but be smart about it, right? We have to onboard them properly. We have to train them properly, and you have to stay involved if that's going to be your lead. Because it's not a matter of when those people leave you. It's a matter of, it's not if, it's when. Because you're training your competition. If they're really, really good, what happens to them when they get really, really good? Don't they all think they can do it? Who's had a buyer's agent you've trained and poured in your heart? Okay, thank you for being honest. And you're like, oh my God, these people are going to replace me. They're so fabulous. And then they're like, oh, so-and-so gave me a little better split, and where do they go? Boop, right out the door. Not going to say that won't happen, but we've all been taught, add agents to take care of your leads, and I want you to tell you, until the water is up in your nostrils, that is the last position you hire for. Because this can be done by a robot, a lot of it. It can be done by AI. It can be done by a virtual assistant. It can be done by an intern. Call and set up a showing, call for feedback, email the client, gather a document, put listing packets together, confirm an appointment. You don't need a license to do any of those things in the state, right? Right. But where do we like to stay? Right here. It's comfort. We got to have it. It's got to be systematized, but it doesn't have to be done by you. So I talk about HVAs, highest value activity. When I look at your calendar, I want 80% of your time in an HVA state. That means prospecting, that means belly to belly with a client, that means writing an offer, that means negotiating an offer, that means going to a VIP event. Your calendar should stay in your HVAs at least 80% of the time. This should only be 20% of your day. Most of us could spend 4, 5, or 6, or 10 hours a day here and go home and go, woo, I had a big day, it's busy. And I say, well, how many leads did you generate? Well, none today, I'm gonna do that tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes because rejection comes with that, okay? So how do we work on this? There are have-tos that we all have to do, but they have to be scheduled and they have to be on a checklist. If you are not at the point you can hire someone to help you or outsource it, that's fine. But just know that those have-tos have to come at your lowest energy time of the day. So what do I mean by that? I mean that, how many of you are morning people? Get up, get your work done, you're on fire in the morning? Okay. You should not be doing these things in the morning. These things come in the afternoon right before you go home. I can write a thank you note in about 35 seconds. I am not going to do that when I am fired up and full of energy in the morning, because what do I want to do during that time? Yes. I don't want anybody calling me and asking me to buy the biggest asset of my life, like, hey, happy Wednesday. How are things going? You better shoot me up out of my freaking chair and force me to think it's time for me to buy a house, whether I think it is or not. Oh my gosh, I'm on fire. Did you see this new subdivision that's coming up? I know you're not ready to buy, wink, 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 but you know somebody who is. I need to help them. Who is it? Is that a different kind of call than the, hey, it's Wednesday, happy hump day, right? We don't think about things like this as an independent contractor because we just think we got to get it all done. Watch what happens when you start blocking the things that take less energy in your less energy time, and you do the things that get you paid in your high energy time. Watch what happens to your leads. Watch what happens to your paycheck. It's game changer. And at that point, when your income goes up, you're more than willing to give this off to somebody else. Does that make sense? So take a look at your schedule when you get back. When are you doing these things? And if you don't have them blocked, let's start there, okay? All right, so let's go to the next one, marketing and sales. This is your number one job. Do we all agree? If you're a salesperson, marketing and sales. So this is your 80% time of your schedule should be spent here. So I use this analogy, and I have for probably 15 years when I'm coaching and training. So I'll give it to you, and if you've heard it before, I apologize. But think about, when my son was little, where I sold real estate was in Smyrna, Tennessee, Rutherford County, and there's a Nissan plant there. And so we would take field trips there every couple years. And if you've ever been to an assembly line, has anybody ever seen a live assembly line? Super cool. Okay, so an assembly line, when they make cars or anything, it never stops. So 2 weeks in the summer and 2 weeks at Christmas, they shut down production to service everything, and then it runs 24/7, okay? So we would come into the Nissan plant, and we get on these little trolley cars, and you put on these headphones, and you start at the front door. And they would it looked to me like they were putting pieces and parts of junk. I'm like, where'd they get this crap that they're putting on this assembly line? It would just look like pieces of junk. So they would put it on the assembly line, and it would just keep going. And we were following this on a little tram. So it would spit out over here, and there would be like a motor. I'm like, whew, that's pretty cool. And then the motor keeps going, and then the frame of the car drops down in front of the motor, and they spray paint it. And then the motor moves into the hood of the car, and it just keeps going. And before you know it, the windows come in. And the very last thing that happens is they put 4 tires on it, zit, 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 all at the same time, and somebody hops in the car and drives it out to the back lot. It is unflippin' believable. And we're driving 85 and 90 miles an hour down the interstate, and they're made in like 2 hours. I'm like, wow, that's kind of like real estate. Like, we're an assembly line. Could you all see that if you think about it? Real estate's an assembly line. So I created this little idea in my head that the real estate assembly line looks like this. So stop number 1 is product, sales and marketing. What are you doing every single day to put product on your assembly line? This is your VIP calls. This is your key influencer coffees. This is your database calls, your mailers, your social media posts, your thank you for the referral videos, your birthday videos. What are you doing every day to look for listings and sales production to get on this assembly line? That's stop number 1. We got to create the inventory, okay? The second stop is service. This is where we've got them under contract, and now we've got inspections and appraisals and paperwork and all the things that happen in the middle, which is service, okay? The assembly line keeps going, and so I get down here to stop number 3, and this is closing. This is where we come in hot, like super S on our chest, woohoo, best closing gift ever. We have sweated and debated what the perfect closing gift is. And we show up here, and a lot of us, unfortunately, 5 or 10 minutes late. And we look back down there at stop number 1. Who's down there? Yell it out. If I'm here, who's down there? No one. No one. So this is what happens. Oh my gosh, I'm the best month ever. Oh my God, I'm starving to death. Oh my gosh, I got a plaque on the wall that says I'm the top producer, and the next month I am living on my credit card. And oh my gosh, I won the company trip, and I pray to God Neighborhood Loans has a luncheon because I got no lunch money. Highs and lows and highs and lows. Can anybody honestly relate with that? Yes. It is the inconsistency of our industry that drive people out. And it's because of this little thing right here. We get rejected here. We get our feelings hurt here. It's hard. We are fighting for a listing. We are scrapping in a multiple offer situation. The most losses will come right here. Yet it's the first thing we'll take off of our schedule, and it's the thing we resent the most. This has to be the first thing you do every day in your high energy area on your calendar, or you will be out of business. It's painful. It's hard to say, but it's not my favorite. I was just talking to the ladies up there, and I'm like, I'm in my third career in my 50s. It ain't easy. And everything I'm teaching you in real estate is exactly what I do now. Same thing. I still have to call people. I still have to gift. I still have to do time blocking. I still have to, all the things. If you went to my bag right now and you opened it up, there's a pack of thank you cards in there. I've learned to be super efficient on the road, so I will write this thank you card to Ross, and Aaron, his wife, who have been wonderful hosts to me. But I know I can do things like that when I'm on a plane. I'm tired. I can get that done, so tomorrow when I get back home, I'm back in the game. Make sense? So don't let this be the thing that you remove from your calendar when it is the most important thing that you need. Okay? Phone calls, face-to-face appointments, presentations, all fit under that. Let's go to the third one, technology. Technology. How many of you love technology? A couple of you? Oh, I envy you because I stink at it, okay? I told this story, I think, yesterday when I was with a group, but I didn't get an Instagram page till January of 2025. I didn't have a Facebook page until 2010. I sold over 300 houses a year without any social media. I'm a relationship-based person. So when all of this stuff comes in, guess what? I'm like, it's not going to change my life. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing until I left real estate. And now I'm in a whole different world. And it's like, oh, gosh, now it matters. I'm not good at it. So I hired a business coach, and I said, okay, I need help with technology. All my background's in real estate. And she says, you have to do it for a year. You have to teach yourself how to do it before you can train someone else of how to do it, because open your social media. So I open it, and she's like, find somebody that you know that the post was created by AI. And I'm like, oh, this one, and this one, and this one. She goes, you want to be that person? You want to be authentic? Do you want to make the post look like you walked it and you talked it? It has to be you. So she's talking about all this algorithm garbage. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about it, but I have to do it. But I will tell you, people that I coach get sucked in right here, because it can be a great advocate for your business. It can also be the worst. Doom and gloom scrolling is such a time suck, but it's comforting. So for me, I give myself 30 minutes in the morning after I do all the things that fill my cup, and then I get it in the afternoon, unless I'm in the airport and I got nothing better to do, right? I just don't live my life on social media. So I did it for a year, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'll just close my accounts. I can't do it. I learned something new. I hate it. I don't want to do it. I'm at that point in my life, I don't do things that don't bring me joy. Anybody else at that point in their life? I'm like, I'm not doing things that don't bring me joy, and this does not bring me joy. So I was able to hire a company. But here was my rule for that, or my non-negotiable, was everybody in the team had to read my book, because I wanted them to walk like me and talk like me. So if you follow me on social media, I know a lot of you do, you probably think, oh my gosh, she's so good at this. Guess what? I'm not. I say all that to say you can too hire someone. AI, you can use them. That's a great technology tool. Put it in chat. How many of you use ChatGPT like it's, your lifeline? Yeah, I do too. You can do a lot of things on chat. I'm learning. Like, ladies, your color wheel. If you don't know what color you're supposed to wear, chat will tell you. We can take a picture of yourself. If you didn't know. I mean, it'll do all these things, right? But I think that technology is good in small doses. But it's a good place for us to waste time. So if you're not a tech person, hire somebody, okay? If you have a high schooler, I promise you they can do all your technology for you because that's what they're living on in school, right? But I want to say this. If you are a relationship-based person and that's how you've built your business, you don't have to change to do technology. You can start sprinkling it in, or you can do none of it. Because your clients that you work with, that is your database and your relationships that are already attached to you, don't want you to change or they wouldn't be with you. Right? So I heard this a long time ago, and I firmly believe it. If somebody does multiple transactions with you, they liked the experience. It was good. They liked the experience. But if they refer you, they trust you. Think about that. If you're an agent who is always burning and churning, looking for new leads, that's called the chase. If you are looking for an attraction type business, you got to figure out how your database relates with you. And for our young guns in the room, technology is your way. I mean, I got a 27-year-old son, I got a 30-year-old bonus child, and they will be in the back seat of my car and text me, "What's for dinner?" I'm like, I'm right here. That's how they communicate. And for some of you that have built your business in social media, don't stop it. I'm just saying don't let it control your business and your time. Okay? All right. Set some limitations. When I'm talking about technology, I'm including your CRM work. Okay? Your social media, anything that you do with proofing and editing, that should all be time blocked in your schedule. Again, these are low energy things that I do, so that's always going to be in the afternoon, okay? I'll give you a quick tool. How many of you prospect consistently on the phone? Okay, one person. Oh, Lord help me, it's two people. Okay, so let me give you a couple ways to prospect in your database and then how to make sure that your notes get in the CRM without you getting sucked into the CRM. You guys come on in. You can come on in. So I learned this through the coaching program I talked about earlier, and it is a letter a week is how you manage your database. So if you're going to go back today and you're like, hey, the big thing I'm going to take away is I'm going to be in the flow with my database from now on, go back and print everybody out of your database that their last name starts with A, okay? Call through them. Hey, is this still your email address? Do you still work at Dell? How are the kids? We're just using the FORD acronym, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams, and then updating their information. You do A's this week, B's next week, C's the next week. So before you know it, you've gone all the way through the alphabet twice in a year. It's a very easy system, but here's what I will tell you. If I'm on the phone with somebody, unless it's like the doctor's office or something, and I'm having a conversation with somebody and I hear this, what do I think? What do I think? You're not hearing a word I say. Why am I even wasting my breath? So I will tell you, I switched when somebody called me out on that and said, are you listening to me? Are you typing? I was like, ugh. So from that day forward, I started printing out my call list. So when you're going to go back and print out your A's, you're going to make all your notes on that A sheet. They're, left a voicemail, their kids are getting married, just had a grandchild, all these things that come up in this conversation, and then have a time block in your schedule, 30 minutes on Friday afternoon or whatever day, and you go pull all those papers out and you just go through your CRM and put all those notes in there. So you have that information the next time that you call them that I can ask you, hey, last time we talked, you were going on vacation. How was your vacation? Because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you And that's how I built my business. I had no social media until 2010. I was just in the relationship-based business. So when people said to me, what do? I own a small business. I never said, I'm just a realtor. That's a whole different soapbox I can get on with you. You changed lives. You're not just a realtor. You're a small business owner. You're a sales and marketing professional. You run a 7-figure sales business. I don't care what your sexy title is, but it needs to be sexy, people. I'm not just a realtor, because we manage relationships, we manage money, we manage databases, we manage people's fear, as Ross said earlier. We manage the biggest asset of most people's lives and negotiate that on behalf of them, and we're not just a realtor. Make sense? So treat those people in your database like they are the asset that they are for you. Take your notes, and then a big hack for your CRM is go back once a week in your low energy time and put those notes in. Okay? All right. Next, my favorite, finances. So I mentioned part of my story that I thought I had a time management issue, and it was a money issue. And what I didn't realize, you guys, I was one bad month away from bankruptcy. I was knocking on the door of a 7-figure GCI, and I had no money. Some of you are like, you are a terrible business person. The truth of the matter is I was, because nobody told me. I did not know what I did not know, right? So when I started tracking all of my expenses, because they told me to do that, I realized that it was costing me over $40,000 a month to run my company before I made a penny. And you're like, well, how the heck did you get there? Yes, that's how I got there. Do you want to sponsor this baseball team? Yes. Do you want a billboard? Yes, thank you, I'll take 2. Do you want a moving truck? Yes, I want that too. Do you want some shopping carts with your face on it? Of course, that's a fabulous idea. I didn't know if I had any money, so the answer was always yes. Until somebody said to me, you're one bad month away from bankruptcy. I'm like, have you seen my GCI? And that's when I learned it's not what you make, it's what you keep. But we reward the big numbers because it looks sexy. I would encourage you, don't worry about that. Start tracking your data, start knowing your numbers, start really talking about profitability. Section 1, expenses. Section 2, income that comes from non-productive things that you do, like referral fees, or if you charge a transaction fee. There's ways to make more money in real estate, but all we're chasing is the next deal and the next deal, because we're not tracking any of that. Then what are you making on your production? What does that look like? Once you know your expenses, then you know how much you have to make every month to clear that nut. And when I talk about expenses in the business, I'm talking about your profit and loss, the business expenses. Because this is another place that we really get in trouble. We're like, hey, we got this check from our brokerage. We're just going to put it in our family checking account, and we're going to spend it. And then quarterly taxes come due, and we're like, oh, I don't have that money. I'll do that next quarter. And then life happens. Got to write a tuition check. The car has a blowout. I need a new roof. Okay, well, I'll do that quarterly the next quarter. And before you know it, you're filing an extension for your taxes. And then the IRS comes knocking. Anybody been audited by the IRS ever? Okay, God bless the 3 of us, 4 of us that have. It's not really fun, is it, Andrew? Oh. Not fun at all. But when you do your finances, the way you're supposed to do your finances, as a business owner, when they come knocking, you can say, here are my files. And they go, oh, you don't owe us any money. And you're like, whew. Right? So how do we do this? If you are not currently doing a P&L, the easiest way I can tell you how to do it is get a notebook, piece of paper out. This is the easiest way to start. Draw a line down the middle. Put all your expenses on the left. Put all your income for the month on the right. Subtract the expenses from the income. Are you positive or negative? That will tell you, are you profitable or are you running in a deficit? If you're profitable, that's the money you take home to your personal budget. If you're not, you got two options. You cut expenses or you make more money. But most of us don't think about that. When we set goals, we're like, I'm going to do 20 deals next year, or I'm going to make 200,000, or I'm going to do whatever. We don't ever think about, like, how am I going to get there and what's it going to cost me? If you don't know your finances, and that's just knowing your numbers in general, it's really hard to run a business. Another great tip for you on this is keep it as simple as possible. 2 checking accounts, 1 business, 1 at home. 2 savings accounts for your taxes, 1 business, 1 at home. 2 credit cards, 1 business, 1 at home. If you are in debt right now and you need to get out of debt, anything that's extra, 2/3 of it goes to paying off that bad debt. The other 1/3 goes into your savings account. You have to have a savings account for your business and home. Life is going to life. You are going to have expenses, and the month that you blank, you have no money in your savings account. How do you pay your bills? How do most people in America pay their bills? Credit card. The credit card debt in this country is at an all-time low. It's all-time high. It's disgusting. It is very rewarding when you can be your own bank. I wanted to get to a point in my life where if I needed money, I could go borrow it from myself. Interest-free. If you've read my book, Chapter 4 is about money matters. It's how I wanted to break the generational curse for my children and how I taught them to budget early on in life and how to sacrifice and save. And it wasn't fun at the time teaching young kids that, but you know what? I have a 30 and a 27-year-old. They're both homeowners, self-sufficient, bought their own house. I didn't co-sign. I didn't give them a dime. They did it all. Actually, my son bought a house that I didn't even know about. How about that? I'm like, I still have a real estate license. Oh, I got it, Mom. He also did his loan all online with no loan officer. It's where we're headed, you guys. Relationships matter. You have to stay in those relationships, and you got to know your funds. It's the only way we're going to succeed as this market continues to change. Because let me tell you, one thing I know for sure is change. Like it or not, it might be better change, it might be a bad change, but change is coming our way, right? Between AI and all these tools that are out there, things are going to be different. So how will you stay relevant? It's a thought process for you. All right, so a couple things around your money. I talked about using a tracking system, doing a monthly profit and loss. Super easy. Don't get sucked into, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do it and it's overcomplicated. It's really not. I just told you how to do that. And then have a savings account, rainy day fund. It will change your life. When you can borrow money from yourself interest-free, it's a big changer. I can tell you in 2010, when the market collapsed, I lived in the dream home and kid in private school and all the things. And I'd put all my eggs in one basket. It was new construction. And one of my builders called me one day, my biggest builder actually, and he says, hey, can you meet me at the model? And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. I'm thinking he's going to give me another subdivision. I'm so clueless. I'm not watching the news. I have no idea what's happening. And he walks in with a gallon Ziploc bag and all these keys, and they're all tagged, and he says, here you go, I'm out. I think he's going on vacation. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, no. My house is mortgaged. I've got one house being foreclosed on. I have no more money. There's nothing else I can do. The bank won't give me any money. I'm done. And I'm like, okay. So he leaves, and I go home, and I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, oh, my God, we're going to lose everything, blah, 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 freaking out. And my husband said, you get 48 hours to have a pity party, and then you got to figure it out. I'm the breadwinner of the household. So I said, what am I going to do? He said, I don't know. You'll figure it out. So I started calling the banks that held all the notes on all these houses. And I'm like, hey, I have the keys to 123 ABC Street. Can I meet you? And they're like, sure. So I get there. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do with this? And they're like, well, we don't want a framed house. And we don't want a house that's sitting with no doors. And we don't want a house with a foundation. And I'm like, well, I do. I want those houses. And we got to figure out how to finish them. And so I spent about 18 months, finished out over 50 houses with these banks. The subcontractor needed to be paid, I needed to be paid, and the bank didn't want to be in the house building business. So I created a business for myself in one of the worst markets in the planet. But what I didn't do was plan for when that job was done. I wasn't working my database. It was coming out of 2010. I'm out of inventory. And I looked at my husband, I'm like, I either have to lay off the team and go back to working in the home office, or I need to borrow $150,000 from us. And I talk about this in the book. And he says, okay, go get the $150,000. I trust you. And I want you to know I didn't lay a soul off. We went back to doing client parties and mailers and phone calls. And in 2012, I netted $1 million for the first time as a realtor. And it grew from there after that. Again, no social media. But guys, I say that not to brag. I say when you can borrow the money from yourself, if I would have had to go to a bank and say, hey, I need $150,000, they would have laughed in my face. It's like, you have no income. What? I didn't have to live on a credit card. Nobody lost their job. And that was game changer for me. And so from that day forward, I was like, you know what? I'll always have money in my savings account for a rainy day, because the rainy day is coming. It's only a matter of time when, right? So let's talk about how do we scale a business. A lot of people talk about how did you scale? What did that look like? And I'll just tell you, the very first thing after you figure out your organizational, which is your ops, your tech, your finances, and your marketing, then we can talk about next steps. And it's really about how do you grow? How do you grow a team? And the team comes with systems and structure. But how do we train somebody to come onto the team when we don't even know how to train them? And let me tell you something, it is really hard to hire somebody, but it's even harder to fire them. That is a very uncomfortable place nobody wants to be in. So what does it look like? You have to create your business model. Starts with your business model. What do you want? What's your highest and best use of your time? And then who are your key influencers who are going to help you get there? That's your database. That's people that, you can leverage their businesses. Okay? What are the key resources you need? What's your value proposition? I love value propositions. I love talking about value propositions because most people think their resume is their value proposition. Do you guys know your resume doesn't mean crap to the client? But we confuse it with what we think they want. Let me show you a very good example of that. Somebody raise their hand and tell me why I would work with you. Don't be afraid. We're all family here. Yes, ma'am.
I'm dedicated.
She's dedicated. Okay? Somebody else. Raise your hand. Why would somebody work with you?
Because I offer guarantees. When I work with them, if they will set up and follow things, I will set up and follow things. And once we do those things, we're guaranteed to have success.
I love it. Guarantee, yes.
I like to work with people to educate them and build a portfolio for financial family success.
Love it. Financial success. What else? I'm looking for one answer. I hadn't got it yet. Somebody tell me, why do people work with you? Yes, ma'am.
I'm highly responsive.
Responsive. Highly responsive. I'm sorry? Proven track record. I still don't have it. Trustworthy. Okay? Because I'm me? Okay, somebody that knows the answer, yell it out. I know there's some loan officers in here that probably know the answer. Yes? Nope. I'm the best negotiator. Do I care that you were Realtor of the Year? Do I care that you sold 10 houses last year or 2,000? What house matters? Mine. So when I say I'm the best negotiator, that means they're getting paid or they're getting the house that they want for the price they want. That's what's in it for them. That's the difference in value proposition and resume. We confuse it all the time. All of you are right. They do use you for that, but what is their number one goal? Sell the house or buy the house. And there are how many realtors in the Phoenix area that they can do that with? Too many. So when I pride myself on saying I'm a master negotiator, I've taken a master negotiating class. You can take it on YouTube for free. They'll send you the thing to print out. I'm the master negotiator. I'm going to get you the highest price in the shortest amount of time and close on time every time. What do they say? Sign me up. I'm going to make sure you get the terms of this buy side cheap as possible. I'm going to negotiate like a mad woman. I'm going to be with you from start to finish. And I'm going to show up at the closing and make sure you get the keys. What do they say? I'm in. All of you could say everything that each one of you said, maybe not a couple of those words, but do you see the difference? What's in it for them? That's a value proposition. If you don't have a good value proposition, steal mine. You're a master negotiator. You're going to help them buy the house, sell the house, whatever, benefit them. Less about us, more about them. That's a big part of success. Does everybody on your team know what the value proposition is for the client? If not, it's time to get it done. The next one is customer relationships. What's the follow-up look like? Guys, there are 3 steps to every transaction. Preparation, presentation, follow-up. What's the most important? The money's in the follow-up. However, how many of you are not really good at that? You don't have to raise your hand. If it's not a system, that's probably you. That's not any disrespect. It's just that's not our highest and best use in our mind. We're off to get the next client. We're off to get the next deal. We're off to get something negotiated, and we forget to follow up. And the fuel and the payment is in the follow-up. Channels, channel accounts. That's leverage, right? Builders, investors, how do you get channel accounts, more business from one client? Great way to build your business. Customer segments. How do you connect more customers to get them what they want, whether that's buying a second home, investment home, right? Cost structure. That's our finances. Major, major, major important. And then the last one is multiple revenue streams. I touched on it really briefly, but I coach a lot of women and men on how to get multiple revenue streams, whether that's referral fees, whether that's showing assistance, whether that is transaction fees. There's a lot of ways that we can make more money, and it's not always just about sales, okay? So you got to have the written plan and process in place for every task before you can scale. Most of us hire and try to figure it out on the fly, and it doesn't really work out very well. Usually costs us a relationship and usually some money. Hiring and onboarding, I'm not going to really go into this a lot today. If you want to come ask me a question, I will make sure that I answer that. But everything has to be documented. Every process, every policy has to be trained. I have a 90-day onboarding process. So anybody that would come onto our team did not talk to a client for 90 days. You're like, well, God, I'm drowning. I got to hire them. They got to work for me right now. Ill-trained people can cost us money, right? We wait till the water's in our nostril to hire. Bad hire. It's hard to get rid of those. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up with this, and we'll go to questions, Q&A, if you want. And so how do you embrace your CEO mindset every day? You master the foundational tasking concepts. You have to master them first. As a CEO, you got to be able to train somebody. You got to know what to train them, how to train them. You got to follow your vision. I'll tell people all the time, don't quit on your dreams. Just because somebody says that's crazy, you're going to build and scale this big company, I said, that sounds crazy. That's your vision. Don't quit on your dreams. Don't allow somebody else's opinion of what you should or shouldn't do dictate what you do. This is your dream. This is your vision. Don't quit on it. And then stay ahead of your competition. Listen, how do I stay one leg up on my competition as a speaker? I follow all of them. I see what they're talking about. I see what stages they're on. If it's a stage I want, I'll reach out to that person. Say, hey, next year when you have that event, I'd love to be one of your speakers. I was sharing up at the top earlier today. I have no idea what I'm doing in this arena, but it's working for 3 years now. So, but I had a couple of people reach out from speaker bureaus, and they're like, hey, we'd love to book you. And I said, okay, as long as I get my fee, I don't care what you charge, right? And I called my coach. I'm like, hey, speaker bureaus. And she said, it's because you're putting a footprint. You're doing the right things. The same thing happens with you guys. When you put things out and it's relevant and it's something for the client, your business will continue to scale without even trying. Do the right thing every time and watch what happens. That's my book. Oh, whoops. I was just going to leave this one up here. I would love to stay connected with you. Follow me. If you have questions, DM me. I'm not going anywhere. I think I have a flight at 4:05. I don't know if y'all have heard my debacle. I think I have a flight home at 4:05. If not, I'm staying here with winter clothes one more day. So thank you guys so much for coming today. Ross, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Awesome, lady.
Thank you.
Okay, I wanted to touch on something I think is super important.
Yes.
And if anybody has questions, just raise your hands. So the old Kendra, the successful, unsustainable, hair on fire Kendra that had great GCI, you had great closings. Talk to us a little bit about the power of coaching and surrendering to coaching and how that changed your life.
Oh, yes, forever changed my life. So for me, as I said, I was sneaking out of bed at night, probably working 85 hours, had no money in the bank. And we don't know what we don't know. And so the power of somebody looking at your business and saying, hey, you don't have a time management issue, you have a money issue, and when you put the right people in place, you can make more money, but you have to document it, and where you're generating all these leads from is not all this money you're spending. So my very first assignment was track all your leads for the first 30 days in coaching. And you know what? No one said to me, oh, we're calling you because of your moving truck or your billboard or whatever. They were always a referral, you sold us a house, my friend told me to call, my boss told me to call. And so right off the bat, I was throwing really hard-earned money at really bad lead sources. So the first thing I had to do was fix all of that, get out of those contracts, and realize that I could build a relationship-based business without even trying. And what would happen if I really tried? And so one thing, rip the Band-Aid off, coaching did for me. And I was successful as in numbers, but not successful as in money and time and family and all of that. So surrendering to a process, I talk about this in the book, it was not easy for me. I thought I had it all figured out. And so when they're like, you got to stop doing that and do this, I'm like, I can't stop going this direction to go learn something new. And so I was a bad student for about 6 or 7 months. I did not surrender quick enough. But when I did, one step went to 2 and to 3. And I was like, oh, I'm going home at 5:30. And now I'm going home at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So I would tell you, yes, it's uncomfortable, but sometimes you have to take 2 steps backwards to go 3 steps forward. And if you don't know what you don't know, somebody else's eyes was game changer for me.
The reason why I bring this up is because if you've got big vision and you want to grow your business, everybody needs a coach. I don't care who you are, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, whatever. Like, the bigger you play, the bigger your coach is going to be. But if you're just kind of coasting and drifting, you're like, yeah, I dabble in this and I'm going to do it on the side, yeah, maybe you're not coachable. But if you want to take your business to the next level, to have sustainability, and you talked about you're a small business owner. You're not a realtor. You're a small business owner, so you have to manage the finance, the operations, the marketing. You have to follow a system, and I think accountability is such a big piece to that. And in both of our industries, mortgage and in real estate, that's the piece that lacks the most. Because if you work for a sales organization, they're going to give you a list of people to call every single day. They're going to probably monitor you on the CRM, see how many outbound calls or how many people you see. We don't have to follow that, but if you want to change your results, you have to live in that world. One other thing I want to touch on was you talked about working your database.
Yes.
And you start with the A's.
Yes.
And to make it simple, so 26 letters in the alphabet. You talk to each client twice a year, or your VIPs, or whatever you constitute. What does that script sound like? Like, what do you, when you're calling them, because I think all of us in sales, like, sometimes struggle, like, why am I calling this person and what am I going to say? I know what my answer is going to be, but I want to hear, like, what was your script like when you would call people?
Okay, so let's talk about call reluctancy, and then I'll answer that. So call reluctancy is real, I get it, but here's 2 things I'll tell you for sure. You can't get a black eye on the phone, okay? And if you haven't been cussed out in real estate, you haven't lived. Can we all agree on that, okay? So let's just get that out of the way. The other thing is, I hear all the time, I don't like to call people because I don't want to look desperate. How many of you feel like if you just call somebody to check in, you might feel a little desperate? Nobody? Okay, good. Well, I'm going to just finish this story anyway, because most people say, I don't want to feel desperate. And so I just remind them, you are. You're desperate. Like mouths to feed, cars to drive, places to go. I mean, we are desperate for business, or most of us aren't doing this for a hobby, right? So what does that script look like for me? I always want to be of value and of service, okay? So I'm not calling to say, who do you know that needs to buy or sell? Every single call. It doesn't look like that at all. So Ford is a good one for family, occupation, recreation, dreams. But it really just sounds like, hey, I am just calling to provide you something of service. Okay, I just heard this on the news, the rates are coming down. I know you've been sitting on the sideline. Or maybe you're not ready for a move, but somebody else is. If you hear anybody talking about rates, they just came down. Or, there's this new development coming in for over 55. I know, you have friends in that arena. Maybe you're considering downsizing. I just want you to know that's here. Always bring something of value. And then guess what? You don't have to ask for a referral. They respect you when you call that you're bringing something of value versus the FU call. Don't make FU calls anymore. We don't FU anybody, okay? We all know what FU is? Follow up. I'm just calling to follow up. How boring is that? Hey, I want to check in. I want to let you know this. Hey, I wanted to bring you this value. Hey, I wanted you to know this. If you have a voicemail, come on, leave that same value. Leave that same message. I can't wait to share some exciting news with you. I've got something of value. I think you'll be interested. Give me a call back. Guess what they do? It's FOMO, man. You know something I don't know? I'm calling her back. But we want to say, I'm just calling to follow up, see if you need any help. You know anybody who needs to buy or sell real estate? They're like, no, not my job. I don't know who else wants to buy or sell real estate. Does that make sense? So that script is really just reconnecting. If I got you on the phone, I would say, maybe the last time we talked, he was going on vacation. How was your vacation? What was your favorite part? What's going on with Aaron, right? I'm just connecting. And then I say, hey, I just want to bring something of value to you, X, Y, Z. You have any questions for me? No. Put the notes in the CRM or on your paper to go in the CRM and just move on. That's really it. It's just a reconnect, but think value add, okay?
Well, and I think having events, you do a lot of client events, getting more relational.
You can do those, invitations, stuff like that.
You thought you would just spend your way through billboards and shopping carts so many of us don't have a playbook in this. Like we think we know the answers or what we need to do, and it seems right, and we get these big commissions, and it's easy to spend money. I mean, I think realtors are probably the biggest target and demographic for spending money on sales because they get these big checks and they're like, oh, I could spend this money. But when you leaned in to building out your relationship-based business and were accountable to the follow-up and serving people and then training your team, which takes a long time. I mean, if you're trying to build a team, just know that it's going to take you quite a while. And I can tell you, Kendra touched on it before, it's about the hire. It's so much easier to make sure you're hiring the right person, because once they're in your ecosystem, to get them out is very painful, as you said, and if they're not trainable. So like disc profile, there's all kinds of things online that you can vet somebody out. You don't want to hire yourself. They're going to take your business unless you're bringing on a partner or something like that. But then you have to scale, because as you build this business, if you're not scaling your business, it becomes unsustainable. You're running out, you're not on a vacation, you're taking calls, you're running emails, and you'll get burnt out. And then you're like, I don't care, I don't want to prospect. So
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're the best. I love listening to you. It's like
Thanks.
my 30th time. Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you.
Ross, I have a question that I want Kendra to cover, if that's all right.
Please ask away.
Kendra, a lot of the agents in here have a greatness tracker because Ross, me, Joey, Connor, anybody has gifted to them. Can you explain why something as simple as the greatness tracker is so important and so easy to do?
Yes. So that's a great question. Yes. So it's an accountability partner when you don't have an accountability partner, right? And so I was that person when I got into coaching. They're like, so how many people do you talk to today? I'm like, 30. They're like, you talk to 30 people? Oh, yeah, I talk to people all day. Well, I'm talking to people all day, but with zero intention, right? So you can talk to people all day about, hey, your inspection is this time, or your loan's approved, or the appraiser's coming tomorrow. That's not really any prospecting, right? That's not a valuable call of any sort. So for me, the greatness tracker really changed my thought process, and that I still had to make those calls, not saying that you don't, but if I really, want to be profitable and I had a goal of how many leads I wanted to generate every single month, I said it earlier, but know your numbers. How many calls will it take for you to generate a lead? Right? And so my goal got to the point was if I can make 10 talk-tos in a day and generate 2 leads, that's 10 leads a month. 10 leads a week. 4 weeks, that's 40 leads. And then I was like, okay, of 40 leads, how do I see what the conversion rate of those are? Because in my mind, we always wanted 100 leads a month. And so my team and I are burning and churning with 100 leads. We couldn't even manage 100 leads. So why did I think 100 was needed? When I started using the greatness tracker, my team and I would just simplify it. 2 leads every day, 4 weeks in the month, that's 40 leads, and then you start watching your conversion because the leads are better and the rates go higher in your conversion when you're talking to warm leads. So that's one piece of our business, right? And then you track your face-to-faces. These face-to-faces will help you build better rapport, build some trust with these people. We're talking about people don't refer you if they don't trust you. How do you build trust? Relationships. So you're tracking how many times you're with somebody belly to belly, looking at those leads that are coming in. It's just knowing your numbers. It is game changer. And maybe you're like, hey, I'm a one-man show. I can't do 10 calls, 10 talk tos a day. Great, start with 5. Give yourself some accountability. Listen, there's no business, I'll say huge, wildly successful business that do not have some kind of prospect and marketing plan. So should we. I mean, I'm shocked at how much money realtors make. Like when I see people's production and their money, I'm like, it's shocking how much money we make, more than doctors and lawyers, with zero plan and zero accountability, right? And how many of you have like a personal trainer that you work out with a trainer? Okay. How many of you have a financial coach, somebody who manages your money? Okay, so why don't you want a business coach in your business? I make less money now than I did in real estate, and I pay a coach more now than I paid then because I know it works. Does that make sense? So accountability, tracking your information, your numbers will go up. If you don't know your numbers, get on the greatness tracker. It's a game changer.
Yeah, and if you don't know what a greatness tracker is, schedule a call with myself or any of the loan officers that invited you. We'll walk you through it. And I could, like Kendra said, the greatness tracker is only as good as your accountability to it and being honest to it. That's the thing I think that people struggle with. So like, it's not talking to somebody about a home inspection or appraisal. It's talking to them about like, who do you
Real
know?
estate.
Who can I help? Oh, that's great. Your son's a veteran. Like I have a great VA lender. Like let's get together. Greatness tracker is powerful, and you mentioned lead tracker too.
Yes.
A lot of salespeople don't actually track their leads. They just kind of go through their text
I
threads.
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
And you can't follow up. So,
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Other than what you've already mentioned, what were your top 3 aha moments with your coach?
Oh, okay. So know your number 1. For me, I was a runner and still, dabbled in it until about 3 years ago. So I would always play harder for somebody else than I would play for myself. So the coach, playing harder for somebody else, I made more money than I ever thought I would. So that was just, when you get somebody that you really respect that had been where I wanted to go, I wanted to get there, and they helped me shorten the learning curve. So I would say, that was another big thing I learned from the coach. And then the other thing, the financial piece. So finances, leads, playing harder for a coach, like shortening the learning curve. Somebody to have a hard conversation with. I don't know about you guys, but in my market, I was the biggest one. And so there was nobody else for me to go to. And so, I can call the coach and say, hey, you know what? I'm really struggling today. I lost a big sale or whatever. I couldn't go talk to my competition about that. So I learned to have hard conversations. People say to me, wow, you were very clear, firm, and direct. If you know who I used to work for, I have a hard time having a hard conversation with anybody. Not disrespectful, but somebody can bring me something really hard and I can get through it probably because of my coach. So I think as salespeople, one of my personal issues was I was soft. I was very soft. People would be like, I want to list my house for this. I'm like, okay. Or I want to list it for 30 days. Okay. I never wanted to tell them no. And when I learned how to have hard conversations or difficult conversations that needed to be had, my business really changed. And I think that was a lot of help from a coach as well.
Question.
Somebody else have a question? Do we have another hand? Yeah, right there.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Amy Docks, and I'm WFG, and I think my partner Lydia is here somewhere. I just wanted to say everything that you're doing is things that we practice and preach on our side of the business as well. And the 5 calls a day, I know that seems like a lot if someone can't do it. If they're struggling with that, we can also help you with ways to get that accomplished, because I think out of everything you've said, that is really where it starts. It's like getting back on the bike, right? When you're riding your bike, if you think you can or you think you can't,
You're right. Mm-hmm.
So those 5 calls, if you can do that tomorrow and starting, we're able to help with that too along the way.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for
Amy.
sharing.
Having good partners, WFG, Amy, and Lydia. I mean, seek them out, vet them. I mean, they're worth their weight in gold, because you're building a business, and sometimes it's It's really hard. And when you have a partner that can help you and help you build, and you're rowing in the same direction, it's a game changer. Yes, you had a question.
Number one, is this whole thing that you guys, the presentation, is that going to be gifted to agents that are here?
Sure.
We can get that out to you, yeah.
Absolutely.
And number two, do you have any current books with you on hand right now?
I do not. If you didn't hear my story, quickly, my flight got canceled. I was supposed to go to Tampa, load up on some books, and bring a cute dress, and unfortunately that didn't happen. And so I have a suitcase full of winter clothes, and it's 100 degrees here. So, but you can order them on Amazon, or you can go to my website, which is just my name, to the shop, and you can get them there. Yes, so go for it. Yes, sir.
Great book.
Is the QR code just a slide back?
Yes, the QR code is right before this one, so we can go back. You can, there we go. Yes, and the QR code should work. But yes, it's on Amazon, or you can go to my website. Thank you.
All right, well, Kendra, as always, thank you so much. You provide such great insight, and I love that you share pain and that you're very relatable for all of us, because we're all out here trying to figure it out. And I think that it can be done. You're proof of it. You know, you just have to like seek that coaching, seek the, you know, being better, be mentor, be coachable. Never think that you have everything figured out, because if you do, what's the point of life? Like if
That's
you
right.
can't learn and grow, you might as well be dead.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you. I
Thank
love
you. Love
Thanks,
you.
Kendra.
Oh, thank you guys
Thanks,
so
guys.
much. Appreciate it.